Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
What up, fam? Happy Sunday. If you're watching this, you are gearing up for UFC 250 Freedom. It's going down tonight. Cannot wait. It's here, fam. Cannot wait. Let's jump right into the fan questions. Because as you're watching this, buddy, I'm getting my spread ready. I got my cold Diet Cokes. I cannot wait. I won't miss a freaking second of this White House card. Cannot wait. Let's get right into it. Banksy 1079, fan question. Do you think fouls in MMA will ever actually mean something? Seems like the referee's company is too comfortable letting warnings slide, and by that time it's usually too late. How do we combat people who exploit or continue fouling opponents knowing there won't be consequences? From day one, I've always said any foul, eye poke, groin kick, automatic point deduction, even if it wasn't intentional, even if it was like, doesn't matter. There should be no wiggle room at all, no gray area. Guaranteed you'd see less of it. But guys take advantage of it like Jon Jones did. There's guys that take advantage of it because they can get away with it. So it's not going to change so they have stricter punishment. Part of the game. Ad Smitty 22. Fan question. Oh, he's part of the Big Brown Breakdown Club too. I know Adam Smitty. What up, big dog? Fan question. First, I love you guys. Appreciate your channel. Your humbleness and ability to relate is top notch. So my son is 4 years old and his BJ loves it. He watches me work out. We answered this. Smitty. So we answered this on the live chat that you guys can go watch right now. So I'm not going to answer it twice for everyone, but you can watch it. It's at Smitty 22. His question about his son starting jiu-jitsu. He sees his son doing it. How does he keep him engaged in it? So love it. Eric Clark 5039. Fan question, two-part. First, how hard is it to make a rule or scoring criteria changes? Very tough because the commissions, and you got to do it as a unified rule. It's a nightmare. Second, would there be benefit to having full guard as a neutral position? My reason for believing so would be taking away the lay and pray. The fighter isn't winning on control time. This would force fighter to advance position and continue to attempt the ground and pound. This would also allow BJJ specialists to work submission from guard and potentially win a round off their back. When's the last time you saw somebody win a round off their back? Guys' guards are probably their weakest thing across the board. It forces a guy on top to move, attempt to pass, or they don't, and they just, because they're winning if they're on top in the judge's eyes. So I don't like that, brother. It takes referee stamps away, also potentially making more exciting fights. I think you do the opposite, brother. Potential is the key word. Yeah. I think you'd do opposite. I think you'd make it more boring. But you might be right. Weenie Hut Jr. 8316. I'm thinking you can provide some insight here, given your experience in multi-tools, different fast combat sports. I'm 24 years old, looking to start a career in space, not fighting, but potentially something on the promotion, agent, marketing, media side. I graduated college with a finance degree, in 2023. Played it safe since then, working in an industry I don't care about at all. I'm sick of spending so many of my days focusing on something I'm not passionate about. Dude, get out. I don't want to look back in a few years and think about all the things. You're young too, so now's the time, brother. I wish I had done. Combat sports, specifically MMA, have been my lifelong passion. I finally woke up recently and realized that I do have a choice. You do. My question is, what are the ins you recommend trying to enter the industry for an early career? A guy like me. I'm located in Dallas, so most of the direct UFC stuff is going to be out. Any ideas would be much appreciated. I know Rich Chow is in the Dallas area, and he's the head honcho. He's the next, vice president, VP in line to Scott Coker, and they're starting an MMA organization. I would get your foot in with some of these big agents. There's a lot of agents that could use help just to get your foot in with the fighters. So, but Rich Chow's in Dallas, Bubba. But either that, or I've tried to get my foot in with some of these big agents that are close to the fighters, especially since you know finances. All of them could use help doing that.
Yeah, DM them and show them like links to your stuff.
At John 6, fan question. Do you think that Conor that beat Eddie is the best performance ever? For Conor, yeah. For Conor, absolutely. That was the best he's ever looked. That was unreal. Best performance ever out of anybody? No. But best for Conor ever. We'll never see that again. Magical. Wide turns only. Fan question. MMA GOAT and combat sports GOAT is not the same. I argue that Poatan being a 2-division glory champ. Oh, this is a great point. And a 2-division, possibly 3 UFC champ puts him in the combat sports GOAT category. Such as Cejudo, Harrison being both Olympic gold medalists and UFC champs, Holly Holm being a boxing champ, being in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and being a UFC champ. You can't argue that Stamp Fairtex being a kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA under one banner puts her there too. What do you think? Side note, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and other combat sports don't have Olympic participation. I'm categorizing based on the highest levels available. Agree 100%, brother. We do forget when we talk about GOAT status that Poatan was a 2-time division champ in glory kickboxing, which is the highest level of kickboxing. You know, you talk about Cejudo, DC, you know, that Olympic level wrestling, having success there. To your point, Holly Holm in boxing, Stamp Fairtex. It's a great point, brother. It's a great point. But when they're talking about GOAT, especially like right now, right, the hot topic is Potan's the GOAT. They're talking about just his UFC accomplishments. And being a 3-division champion's never been done. So he's in the conversation, but he hasn't reigned long enough in any division to me to be considered the GOAT, because I think reigning champ and defending at middleweight, light heavyweight, or heavyweight multiple times, like you're talking about 8, 9, 10 times, is the hardest thing to do in sports. And he hasn't done that. So that's why he's not my GOAT. Best accomplishment in the UFC, though, but that's a different conversation. Big Mac 439, fan question, 4th attempt for this question. With how many MMA fans aren't big fans of grappling, wrestling, heavy fights, or fighters, what do you think is the main reason that kickboxing and Muay Thai haven't become more mainstream? I've been watching them both more lately and feel like they're the perfect sport for MMA fans who don't want to watch any wrestling, because they don't tell any of their stories. They're bad at marketing, and they don't tell, you have no reason to care. Even though I agree, it's so much fun to watch. They're so talented, and it's nonstop action, but you don't know who they are. So it's like if you watch a baseball game, even if it's the Dodgers versus the Atlanta Braves, the 2 best teams in the league, but let's say you had no clue who they are, you'd be like, all right, yeah, this is supposed to be cool. And if someone's like, oh, dude, Otani's the best in the world, but you've never heard of him, you're not going to care. You got to have some sort of connection to the fighter or the player to actually give a fuck. There's too much going on these days. Tad HG talks. Fan question, any advice for anxiety and low self-esteem? Also, I'm 175 pounds in good shape, have some boxing training. Is this Callan? But I want to become bigger and stronger without taking roids. Not looking to be a bodybuilder, but just want to be bigger and stronger so I can defend myself, protect my family if I ever have to. He looks like a young Callan. Well, your anxiety, low self-esteem, if you're in good shape, so I assume you work out, you have some boxing training. When we talk about roids, are you talking about like, because TRT is not roids. Peptide's not roids. Those are 2 completely different things, and they get a bad name. So there could be some stuff there to add lean muscle, get really shredded, get in great shape, and you're in the boxing gym. So I'm sure you can get confidence from all those things. You know, getting bigger, stronger, faster is going to give you a lot of confidence, brother. And you probably won't have as much anxiety either. And your self-esteem would go up. Light skin, Oso 295. Fan question, 3rd attempt. What area of the United States produces the best MMA talent? Where would you send your scouts? Oh, what a fucking question. Oof. California is a good one. God, where would I send my? It's tough because they're kind of from all over. There's a lot of guys coming out of Philly, the East Coast. That's a tough question, brother. That's a tough question, because if you're looking for like up and comers, I'd probably say your best bet is still SoCal or California in general for the best talent, like young talent. But again, there's guys in Florida, Texas, the Midwest with wrestling. If I'm looking for just a dominant guy who has a wrestling background, probably going Midwest. Again, Philly, the East Coast producing some animals, but I'd probably go California. Great question. Big Daddy Rob 420, fan question, 12th attempt for God's sakes. With all the hypes around the White House card, do you think it was wise of Trump's people to not let Strickland attend the event? Second question, why does everyone act like Hokett's fight against Blaze was one of the best heavyweight fights ever, when in my opinion it wasn't? Your fight with Mirko was way better than Hokett versus Blades. I don't know about that, dude. I don't know if it wasn't more entertaining. Like, that fight was good. There's some blood back and forth. I took him down, I think 3 or 4 times. So I don't know if that's the most exciting for people. And then obviously it ended in a crazy fashion. But I don't think that fight's better than Hokit versus Blades. But thank you. Do I think it was wise not let Strickland attend the event? Yes, because he's been super critical of Trump, and he's a wild card, and he doesn't hold his tongue, which is why I love Strickland. But they don't want to deal with that risk, that he yells some shit out and he gets picked up on the mic or yells out something about Epstein and stuff like that. I understand why they're not inviting him. I wish they did because it'd be so entertaining, but it's their party, It's like inviting a hater to your party. Would you want a hater at your party? Probably not. Boys 29 fan question. Let's just say Tom fights his next 2 fights on his contract and wins both and bails because the UFC Dana White have too much power over fighters and their futures. How much of a PR issue would it be if their last 3 heavyweights champions effectively leave? First Francis, then John wouldn't play ball, then Tom. Wouldn't be a good look. It wouldn't be a good look to us, to the hardcores. To the casual fans, they have no fucking clue about Francis or John. It wouldn't affect business. We know how much of a travesty it is and how crazy it is, but the general fan doesn't care and wouldn't affect the UFC, and that's crazy. Zach McQueen -RD fan question. Yo, Big Brown, I think we can all agree that the UFC moving on from USADA was a net positive move, especially when we heard about all the crazy stories about them fucking with fighters, overstepping their boundaries. But feel like since drug-free sport has come along, we hear next to nothing about drug tests in the sport. What's your opinion on how strict the current protocol is? Is it just a simple IQ test for these fighters in camps to be able to work around? When's the last time we heard any fighters pop for anything, especially in upper weight class fighters? Do you think UFC has more control on being more hush-hush about things, or would you say you're confident that it's the same as when USADA was in place? Definitely nowhere near the same as USADA was in place. I'm also on the side of let them do their thing. They're competing in such tough sport. It takes so much, out of their bodies and beats up their bodies. So if they're doing peptides and HGH for recovery, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And they're going to do it anyway. So it's like UFC taking a step back, and USADA, they were so strict, it sucked. No Islaya Universe -G5Q fan question. What are your chances of you getting together with a few legends doing a fight command for the White House card? An all-American cast like Josh Thompson, Tim Kennedy, Rampage would do crazy numbies. Yeah, I feel you. Rampage ain't coming out here. He's streaming, I'm sure, at 7-Eleven or some shit. Tim Kennedy and Josh Thompson would be easy to get, meaning because they're close buddies in Texas, but Rampage is in California. But the chance of me doing a White House card is next to none. You guys would know. I would have promoted it by now. Dude, I'm be at home watching with my fam. My son has a game at 4. I'll be done by 5:30. I'll race home. Hopefully wifey gets the snacks and the hors d'oeuvres rolling, the cold Diet Cokes. Cannot wait. Lewis Cypher -23 fan question. If Justin beats Ilya, do we get the trilogy with Dustin Poirier? Nope. I know Dustin is retired, but the trilogy for the belt would be legendary. Wouldn't be mad at Armin getting the next title shot, especially against Ilya. That is the biggest fight in the sport right now. Agree. Ilya, Armin, or bust. No, Dustin Poirier ain't coming back. But if Justin beats him, no, you're going to get Justin Connor. J Bun 0619 fan question. You ever personally experienced International Fight Week? Wondering as a fan if it's even worth making a trip to experience anything, or a complete money grab and waste of time outside an actual fight. I bet it's pretty cool. I bet it's cool because they do the expos there, right? And I used to take part in the expos. I took place for the first 3 or 4 expos they ever did, and they're awesome. They're awesome, dude. I actually went to one before I was even in the UFC and met Vanderlei Silva. They were awesome.
How long did it take you in line to actually meet him?
Hour.
An hour?
And he called me Brandon.
It's Vanderlei, though.
Heartbreaking. That might have been the Olympia, though, because I was a UFC fighter for the first UFC Expo because I just got out of the house that week, and I was at UFC Expo and walking around, and nobody knew I was an eligible fighter. That was cool.
Last one.
At Joker's Gallery, fan question: with TKO being profit obsessed, yep, corporate chills, is it time for the UFC to give up on female fights? The White House card having 0 female fights tells you that they're not big stars or draws. No, now remember, I'll push back on this. Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes were planned to be on there, but she got injured and had the neck surgery. So they did plan to have 1 female fight on there. A good promotion of MMA fans look at female fights as bathroom break time. I can't possibly imagine UFC makes money in return on all the female fighters they pay. Yeah. But same thing could be said for the heavyweight division besides the top 2 guys. There's ebbs and flows, ups and downs. I'm sure there'll be some badass females coming. Mackenzie Dern, nobody's mad. She's champ. Easy in the eyes. Talented as all get out. So, but the pushback in the White House, they did plan to have a female fight on there, but fell through. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, guys, love you. If you haven't watched, the live chat's available right now. Enjoy your UFC 250 freedom. It is time. It's here. So if you're watching this, you're probably getting amped for the fights. Enjoy the mother trucking fights. You guys earned it. I've earned it. Relax. Put your feet up. Get a Diet Coke. Enjoy the fights. It's our Super Bowl, and it's here finally. It's Sunday, baby. Enjoy UFC at the White House. It's happening. Love you guys. See you Monday. See you Tuesday for the live chat. See you Friday for the live chat. So that's it. Love you guys. I'm Big Brown. I'm out.
When you're in a bind, you will find a new fight card to be broken down. And you can't fall asleep, 'cause he'll go balls deep on a card coming Saturday night. It's Big Brown, Big Brown, the Big Brown breakdown coming to your town. He's big and he's brown, the Big Brown break.
Some of that was good.
Down.
Brendan